team last year, when you looked at them, when you watched them play the game of basketball, they were very, very robotic. They played like system basketball. And we talked about late shot clock guys and how Kentucky has about two or three of them. Well, Tennessee didn't have one of them, right? Tennessee didn't have one late shot clock guy. The best guy when it comes to getting into the paint was Ziegler. And he at the times where just wasn't a great scorer. He ended up getting hurt. But even when he was playing, he wasn't an elite scorer, wasn't on that level to where it's like, all right, cool. Like, let me go get you a bucket. No. But Rick Barnes goes in the transfer portal, goes and gets a guy from Northern Colorado that we talked about. Nobody expected Reed Shepherd to do something. We surely didn't expect this man right here to do anything. In Dalton Knecht, honestly, in my opinion, the best transfer in the transfer portal, the biggest pickup, and I don't even think it's close. And if it wasn't for Zach Edey and just the absurd amount of numbers, the absurd numbers he's putting up in like E7-4, which don't even get me started when it comes to this. Don't get me started on Purdue basketball. But when it comes to, you said, what was that, huh?
They're another story. They're a story for another time.
Oh, okay.
I'm not bought into them in the postseason yet, but I agree with continue with what you're saying.
I thought you was about to get ready to debate because I was about to say, oh, sir, we can go down that road. We can just scratch the rest of the show and go down that whole road. But
are you pro? Are you pro or anti Purdue? Well, I don't know where you were going.
I'm anti Purdue. Anti Purdue.
Okay, I am too. So we can't have a good debate.
Yeah, we can't.
I couldn't be further south on them.
No, for sure. But if it wasn't for Zach Edey and Big Fella down low, I think Dalton Knecht is probably National Player of the Year with some of the performances that he has had. He becomes their late shot clock guy. When they need a bucket, he is their go-to guy, one-on-one. You can't guard me. I can create off the bounce. I can shoot the tray. I can do whatever I need to do. And they finally have that.
All right, listen, I don't disagree with the Knecht take. I don't, because I think he's phenomenal. But I will push back a little bit on their late game, late shot clock kind of guy. Like, they beat Alabama the other day with him being a non-factor. He was a non-factor. Call it what it is. He was 1 for 7 from the. He was one. What do you mean? 13 points, 5 for 13, 1 of 7 from 3. He was in foul trouble. I'll give him a little bit of that. But for the most part, like, if you go back into I watched like the last 6 minutes of the game this morning because I knew we were going to talk about it a little bit. And if you go back through that game, right, he had pretty much nothing to do with getting into that 7-point deficit and then ultimately taking the lead. It was Zakai Ziegler, Jones Adu, Vescovi. God, I'm butchering all these guys' names. Mashaik. God, regardless, Dalton Knecht was not part of the list of guys that were really winning over that game. Like Zakai Ziegler's defensive presence, his ability on that end of the floor, completely swayed the way the game went. And then he had the back-to-back assists that ultimately gave them the lead, and they never gave it up. I think it was around the 5-minute mark. But I just don't think Dalton Knecht, and I'm glad we're on the same page with the Purdue thing. He's not Player of the Year. If Zach Edey never existed, yes, he probably is Player of the Year. But to your overall point, like, that veteran group that they have, I mean, they're top 3 in defense. They're 3rd in defensive efficiency. They're 17th in offensive efficiency per KenPom. So, like, they fit the mold for a team that could not only make it to the Final Four, but win a national championship.
You know, you actually just proved my point even further because you're talking about this last game. Boy, how about the game before, Noah? How about the game when my man had 39 against a top 15 team in Auburn? Dude took that game completely over. And what you said just proved my point even more because in a sense, not only do he can be that go-to guy to take a game over, but they're also good enough to be able to go on the road with their go-to guy not playing well and still pull off a big win like they did. They're so versatile, and that's what makes them so dangerous because Dalton Knecht is that dude. 39 against Auburn in a pivotal moment of the season in a top 15 matchup. 39. We talking about 1 point away from 40, Noah.
I do remember you hit me early on in the year. It was like right before the Maui Invitational. You were like, yo, you got to look at Dalton Knecht. Like, this dude is different. And then he laid 2 eggs in the Maui Invitational after the Syracuse game. I'm a fan of Dalton Knecht. I know I sound like a hater, but I'm just that's just was the timeline of when all that happened. I don't disagree with you. I think that they're the veteran presence that they have from top to bottom. And then, like, you know, that little chip on their shoulder from last year's tournament run, like, they lost to FAU. You know, they want their lick back. And I think that it could come this year, regardless of how they finish SEC play, regardless if they win the regular season title or the tournament final. I don't even think it matters. Like, yeah, you want to win that, but I still think that the overall totality of this team screams Final Four, in my opinion.
100%. And you're right. They did lose to FAU, but FAU has a few dudes on that team, and Elijah Martin and John L. Jones, who we might see him in the NBA. And the way that they were playing was absolutely out of their minds. But
we're both strongly no on Dalton Knecht for Player of the Year. Strongly no.
Yeah, right? I mean,
can't win it over Zach Edey.
He's not going to win it over Zach Edey, but like in my personal opinion, if I had a vote, I'm voting for Dalton Knecht.
You're insane. You're insane. Why? What do you mean? He's not going to. So you actually would take him. You would take.
Yeah. Dalton, I mean, in my opinion, listen, this is going to go down a rabbit hole in which we're probably going to have to scratch the whole show and just talk about this.
You got like 2 minutes.
Listen, in my opinion, right, what Zach Edey does, like the numbers are impressive, but how do I phrase this without sounding? I feel like okay. At 7'4" to do what he does, I don't think it's very difficult.
Yeah, so he should be faulted, and he should not be granted his second national player of the year because he just so happens to be 7'4". So sorry, man, you can't have this award because what you do is actually not that hard out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. To the people who care about stats and the people who are gonna vote, they're gonna be like, yeah, give it to Zach Edey. But like real hoopers know, you were a hooper. Real hoopers know that what Dalton Knecht is doing is way more impressive than what Zach Edey's doing.
Okay, I don't dispute that, but take the stats out of it, like on a pure impact scale, Zach Edey has more of an impact on the floor than Dalton Knecht does. The guy's 7'4". How do you game plan for? You don't game plan for that. You can't. You can get the ball out of Dalton Knecht's hands. You can make him uncomfortable.
He has more of an impact.
Yes, Zach Edey has the biggest impact in college basketball. He's 24 and 12 on 62%. What are we talking about? He's the
way that the game is played in college basketball, what do you win with bigs? Why does Purdue constantly get bounced early in the tournament? This is a constant thing for these dudes.
I don't disagree with that. That's where I land on your side of the Purdue debate, but not the Zach Edey impact debate.
But this is what I'm saying. You want to talk about his impact. His impact causes his team to lose when it matters the most.
Did they lose to FDU last year because of him or because they had bad guard play?
Because if the main thing that you're doing is throwing it inside, which he produces, but if the main thing is the main thing and that's throwing it inside, you will not be successful. So you can argue that at the end of the day, Zach Edey, as much as he does, the greatness that he has, if he does not have good guards that can actually go get you a bucket, throwing it inside to him is not going to produce wins.
Okay, so is that a stray at Braden Smith and Lawyer? Because
I ain't going to say it's a stray. It's a fact. Them dudes didn't produce like they should have produced. They
I don't disagree with you on the end of overall team not producing and then it impacting Edey's impact in March Madness. However, regular season Big Ten play versus Dalton Knecht's SEC play, I just feel like it's not really comparable. Like I started off my response to
not comparable is crazy.
Didn't even have an impact in their win against Alabama.
Not comparable is crazy. Like, bro, Dalton Knecht is averaging 20 points, almost 21. Zach Edey's only averaging 24. Now, yes, he's averaging 12.
Only.
Yeah, only 24. That's like 2-3 points more. And he gets the amount of touches. Oh my goodness! I need to go find my laptop to find the usage rating because the amount of touches.
Don't move, otherwise our setup is fucked. Don't move.
the amount of touches that literally Zach Edey gets, he should average 24. I mean, Dalton Knecht can go get it out the mud, and when you need it,
what does that have to do with overall impact, though? I'm sorry. I have seen Purdue lose games when Zach Edey does not get the ball. I have seen Tennessee win games when Dalton Knecht is there but struggling. Who has the bigger impact?